Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis. Although most of the cars I source are between £1,000 and £5,000, very often I've been asked to show something a little bit cheaper on the channel, and so I came up with No Budget Reviews, the series where we look at cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and you can enjoy driving. We don't film this in an expensive manner, we don't use separate microphones, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't even use a DSLR, but we do have a lot of fun.
Well, viewers, I feel like No Budget Reviews has returned to its sort of roots. We're with an off-roader in some dramatic landscape in Wales, and no, I'm not visiting Ian Seabrook, much as I'd like to. In fact, I'm visiting one of channel viewers who's called Nathan, and this is a 2004 Jeep Cherokee 3.7 Limited. This colour's not standard, it's actually been painted matte black, but actually it suits the car quite well. This at the time was a rival to things like the Land Rover Freelander, and to get up here it's a very steep hill up to where we've parked. You can see we've actually put a trail rated badge on this. I can never remember exactly what specifications are for one of those, but there we go. I think this is the first Jeep we've actually had on the channel, and you know, we haven't had too many Chrysler Corporation vehicles at all, but here we are. Nathan paid just over the No Budget Reviews kind of amount for this, and I think you can still pick these up for under £1,000, so that's brilliant. This is the KJ type of Cherokee. It was known in America as the Liberty, and in some other markets as well, but we only got these as the Cherokee. It's not the most economical car with the 3.7 litre engine, but of course, you know, the other options available were, well, 2.4 4-cylinder, which is about 145 horsepower, and then, well, there were some diesels, but we can't talk about those on this channel, can we? So we open up the glove box, you can see it's full of all kinds of exciting stuff. It's fascinating. We've got sort of twin airbags and things like that in this car. We've probably got side airbags as well, to be honest, somewhere. But everything's really, really hard. Apart from this sort of leather door, because this is the Limited, so it has leather interior. And got two-stage heated seats and sort of electric driver's seat. But this kind of shiny plastic up here sort of belays the fact that this is in any way a luxury vehicle. Bit inconsistent, really. But we've got the switches for electric windows on there. I presume it's a cost-saving measure. Nathan tells me these were made in America rather than Austria, as some Jeep models were at the time. We've also got a door locking switch. That's not a passenger window switch. That's a door locking switch. I don't know why you need that, particularly on the passenger door, but you know, never mind. Also got a little aerial here, which is brilliant. If I just take a seat in this side for a change, you can see that we've got standard aircon. It's not climate control in this car, and an aftermarket stereo, apparently the original one, but it didn't work. Again, materials don't really feel particularly nice. Given this was, I think, compared to originally to a Freelander, because you could get a V6 at a Freelander at this time, and as well as, you know, smaller petrol and some forbidden fuel engines. But I suppose it's okay. It kind of does remind me a bit of, you know, the older Jeep models. The XJ Cherokee obviously springs to mind, and I would love to do one of those actually, as well, but that won't be on No Budget Reviews. Those are worth far more money than the KJs like this. So let me just come around the other side and we'll have a look at that dashboard in a bit more detail. Right, big chunky door handles, and yes, it is an electric seat and it is heated Getting in is pretty easy. Hit point, if you're average height like me, is a good place. Cruise control, which is very useful. I'm trying to, eke the fuel economy out of this car, which isn't very good. Nathan does use this for towing. Oh, don't put my hand in the way. Put my key in here, and yes, the door's open, so it's going to beep at me. It's just like bonging at me, does it? That's what it. Right, shut up for a second, will you? Thank you. We got up the hill today, and it's doing 9.2 miles per gallon. Yes, you can change the units on here as well and do all kinds of things, but that's not a great place for the fuel computer, really. But just the way it is. Light controls are on here. I think you can change the dimming light in here as well. It's way too much on that stalk. And same for this one. There's all sorts of exciting things going on in the wiper stalk. As far as I remember, all 3.7 V6 Cherokee sold in this country were automatic. There's the you've got part-time and full-time four-wheel drive on here, and 4-low, which is very, very exciting. It's very exciting, viewers. Like that sort of thing. Mirror switch is normal, but there's that silly door locking switch again, and that only feels marginally better than the interior door handle on the pre-facelift MG3. Lots of space for Rick Astley CDs and Electric Light Orchestra and all kind of exciting music in there as well. See a 12-volt socket down there that has been converted to a USB port, which is good, and of course a headlight leveling switch, which you might need if you're towing, which Nathan does do with this car. Right, let's take a look at the boot. Just like the older off-roaders, we've got an externally mounted spare, which actually has parking sensors and number plate lights on it too, which is interesting. So it is used for towing. Wow. Let's do that again, viewers. I thought that was exciting. Let's do that again. That's exciting. Right, let's try that again. Wow, if you're too close, that's going to fly up and hit you in the face. Don't park too close to anybody though, because you're not, you won't be able to open that. Obviously, if that is just fucking shopping, it'll be okay. Boot's pretty big. Of course, you don't need to look underneath for the spare because that's where it is. And a dog guard, and emergency fuel cans and all kinds of things. Properly equipped to go and travel the great outdoors. Just see how heavy this is to close. Oh, that's it's nice and easy actually. It's not too difficult. But yeah, so we're gonna stand back as this hits you in the face, which yeah, maybe isn't the best start to a day. So here's the 3.7 litre V6 engine, in this case developing about 208 horsepower. The auxiliary belt apparently isn't too difficult to actually change. Nathan's done that himself, and it uses 5W30 oil, which is interesting. It doesn't actually look as difficult to work on as I thought it was. I mean, this airbox on there, you can just take that off, I imagine, it's quite easily, and everything's marked quite nicely with things like the brake fluid and the dipstick, and I presume that's something like automatic transmission fluid or something like that at the back. Yeah, it's not too bad, I suppose, for accessibility. It's helped by the style of the car. Nathan has done these struts as well. Apparently they have failed at some point. But they say they've got a lifetime warranty on them, which is interesting. Wonder how they'll still be going at about 2135 or something like that. Yes, it does actually look quite nice in this matte black colour, which of course wasn't factory standard or anything. Wow, you need proper muscles to close that, or two hands. Excellent. Right, I think it's time to go for our little spin. Before we go for that drive, viewers, I just need to climb in the back. I forgot to do that earlier. To see how easy that is. Ooh, that's what I call relaxing classical. Yes, so you need relaxing classical music after you've gone down some of these hills, I can assure you. Right, there we go. That's not too difficult. There's enough room in here. Yeah, what you can see is not my camera being bad, it's just a reflection off the leather seat. Yeah, there's loads and loads of headroom. There's absolutely masses of headroom. It's more headroom than you can imagine. And you can see we've got interior lights here. If I just turn around, we can see another interior light here. It's Nathan's son seat is in here as well. What does that do? This sort of thing here. Oh, they're the electric rear window switches. They're not very nice quality, viewers. And again, we've got I think this is the leather on the door, but everything else is hard and scratchy and a bit nasty. A little bottle. Of course, you're going to need your, cup or whatever for the drive-in if you're going to America or something. I like the headliner. That feels quite nice quality, and it's also a light colour, which helps because the interior is very, very dark. And you can see some nice dramatic Welsh scenery as well. I do like some nice dramatic Welsh scenery, as do, I think, a certain number of you who are fans of a certain other Welsh-based channel. As you can see, we've got Nathan and Nathan's son with us today for what feels like an absolute adventure going up this hill. Even with 208 horsepower with his 3.7 litre V6, it does feel a little bit like we're still struggling. It's amazing around here, but you know, I can't think of too many more suitable cars for sort of under £1,000 that you can buy that will actually do offer this this kind of sort of engine performance and this kind of towing capability for so little money. There was another petrol available, which was a 2.4 4-cylinder, about 145 horsepower. That was dropped for the facelift. Now this car was facelifted later on in 2004. This is an earlier one, so it's a pre-facelift, and that saw the engine output of the 3.7 dropped to 201 horsepower due to the upcoming Euro 4 emissions regulations, which means unfortunately this car is not low emission zone compliant. And there were also other engines which were not Euro 4 compliant, and then not Euro 5 compliant, because they're forbidden fuel. But of course, as usual, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. What we do talk about though is the fact that this car does 0 to 60 apparently in about 10.5 seconds, and not what we'll be doing at today, because there's just absolutely no way we're going to be reaching a sort of speed on a road like this. But it's nice to know we can do it if it was there. Trim levels available in the Jeep Cherokee KJ series, in this country anyway, were Sport, that was the base model. Then there was Renegade, that was like a special edition type thing, more sort of off-road focused one. Extreme Sport was a special edition, and then the Limited. I think the Sport and the Limited are the most common ones you're going to find. Yes, it does really remind me of the old Shogun I used to have. It just, of course, that was a forbidden fuel engine, and this is a petrol. You're not going to get the most kind of dynamic chassis in this, and indeed the steering is extremely light. It's very, very light indeed. I think this is a monocoque rather than a separate chassis construction, but it does just remind me of cars I've driven that are actually separate chassis, like the Suzuki Jimny and also the Sanyong Musso Rhino. Just a very sort of old-fashioned off-roader, and I'm sure trail rated badge will mean that, you know, you'll get to where you want to go if you don't break down, which hopefully you won't. Okay viewers, it wouldn't be no budget reviews without the camera mount in the way and the autofocus playing up around everywhere, but you know, because it's raining, the autofocus is particularly bad. But as you can see, some of the scenery that we've got here in South Wales, at least when we come across other cars going along, we can go on the verge without any problems, because you've got off-road tyres fitted in this as well, so that is obviously handy. So yeah, it's a bit different from the normal roads I drive on during one of these reviews, I think, but hopefully that is enjoyable for you. Yeah, brakes feel nice and positive. You're going to need decent brakes around here. It's very, very, very easy to drive. It's incredibly easy, particularly with this automatic transmission. You could get a manual gearbox in these. There were 5 and 6-speed manuals available. The 6-speed manual, interestingly, was shared with the Chrysler Crossfire, which you know, isn't my favourite car, viewers. I have to say, it wasn't the best one I've ever driven on my channel. This is a very different type of prospect, a very different type of thing. But you kind of tell in a way that they were made by the same people. I mean, you've got the same kind of sort of interior quality, which seems to be a sort of thing that Chrysler and Jeep went in for in the year 2000s. And you've got this slightly kind of vague steering, which I thought you'd be able to compare the two, but there we go. Ooh, Seat Toledo with a forbidden fuel engine. Interesting. Right, I think it's time to draw some conclusions about this wonderful car, and so we'll go and park up somewhere. Well viewers, the KJ Jeep Cherokee, or in some cases the Jeep Liberty, is this a car you should consider with your hard-earned budget of less than £1,000? Well, I think we can see some build quality issues in this, and with this 3.7 litre V6 engine, it's not going to be the most economical car, but it is quite enjoyable to drive. It's properly kind of old-fashioned off-roader. It feels a bit like a smaller Shogun or something like that, or you know, Jeep would hope that you'd say it's like a smaller Grand Cherokee, I'm sure. But yes, thank you to Nathan for allowing me to drive this. It's not something I'd ever really considered before, actually. Hopefully I can find an XJ Cherokee at some point to feature on my channel, because apparently those are wonderful as well, and they were featured in Bugs, which you know, is an interesting program. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more extremely cheap cars. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below, switch notifications as well, that would be wonderful. Social media links are down below, and thank you ever so much indeed once again.